I think that sometimes we're working too hard to find meaning. Try to tie that into that, because this is what I'm sensing.
That I was just going to respond to Baruch about that. That in my overall uh, beliefs and understanding, I don't have to understand why
Hmm.
this one particular thing is happening.
Wow,
Right.
that's powerful.
Because overall I understand that there is a flow to life, and there somehow I will find the meaning in it, or I will create the meaning for it. Later on, something will become evident to me why this thing happened that prepared me for this next thing, or maybe caused me to take a left turn instead of a right turn.
Right.
Right.
And the left turn was the correct turn, but I didn't know it.
Mm,
And so, that constant, oh my gosh, why am I going through this? What is the meaning in this? What am I?
Yeah.
It it doesn't have to be held under a microscope. In fact, these kinds of things don't really look good under a microscope. In fact, if you look at just about anything under a really powerful microscope, it doesn't look
mhm.
very
Yeah.
well. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
but if you pull away from it, actually, there was a Salvador Dali created a painting uh, that was a bunch of little squares that, if you looked up close, you couldn't make any sense of it. But if you pulled away from it, it became a picture of Abraham Lincoln. But you could
Oh
only
yeah.
see it from a distance.
Wow.
Mm,
You couldn't see it up close. And we are up close to the things that are happening in our lives,
hmm.
and you can't tell because we don't have perspective. And
Yeah.
that's what time and even some emotional distance from the event can bring us. They can bring us perspective.
Mm,
Yeah.
There's a
Wow.
story that I'm going to butcher this, and I thought about it right before I got on air, and I was going to try to look it up, but I didn't even know where to look it up. Where two farmers are talking, and one farmer asks the other, how's your kids? Oh, my son, he fell off and broke his leg. Oh, that's terrible. Well, good, terrible, I don't know.
mm.
But then they came to conscribe him into the army, and because he had a broken leg, he couldn't go into the army. And the guy said, "Oh, that's wonderful, wonderful, terrible, I don't know." And the story goes on that
Hmm.
this one guy's assigning a value judgment to each incident, and the other guy's just kind of, I don't know. Let's just see how it plays out, basically.
Right.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. I actually relate to that, because there was a video that I keep looking for. When I was a little bit younger, I saw this video, and it just had a huge impact on my life. And for the life of me, I cannot find it anymore. But I remember it was this video that was actually pretty viral back in the day. And it starts off with a picture of a toilet. Like, that's
Hmm.
literally how it starts off. And then it's like, and then you see kind of like in the frame, like the video is taking it through a frame of some sort. So it's zooming backwards. And then there was like something else, and they were pretty quite dramatic items that they were using. um and they're just keep on zooming back, zooming back, zooming back, and it's going through frame and frame, and at the end of, I think it's like a 6-7 minute video, it's this beautiful architectural masterpiece, this beautiful picture. And basically the whole anecdote, the artist who designed it, he took these sort of quote unquote negative items in the world, or controversial items in the world, and he put them all together to make this beautiful masterpiece. But the only way you were able to see it is the more you moved backwards from it. Brilliant, brilliant video. I wish I could find it again to, just to demonstrate it. But that really had an impact on me in life, and saying, right now things are difficult or things are tough. I'll just share a very quick story, because it is something I'm sharing right now a lot on social media. Is my story how I came to my impossible dream. There were so many times in my life people were telling me, oh, it's impossible to achieve that. Oh, it's impossible. Yet I've achieved them all. And I'm in the middle of achieving the remainder of them. And to me, the lesson is that here I was, trying to search for, let's say, that ideal wife, that everybody thought was elusive. Therapists and matchmakers and whoever I went to all thought I was crazy. But in the end of the day, thank God, I ended up meeting that person who, under my circumstances, is ideal. And that to me, that lesson right there, you know, the 8 years that it took me to find this, this ideal wife was me trying so hard, finding meaning and purpose in everything. And the lesson I learned out of that whole story was, as long as you have direction and you have a focus, stick to it, despite what other people have to say. But you don't necessarily have to, as you were saying, work so hard in searching for that meaning. You could remove, in my situation, I decided I had to remove the organizational part of the religion that I was part of. It was just this organized religion that it's a stereotype in a sense, that they said, oh, this kind of woman would never marry you because of your religiosity or
Mhm.
whatever that case was. And I said, that just simply didn't make sense to me. Listen, if God said so in the Bible, and you could prove it to me and you could show it to me, I'm all in. I respect the Bible. But, and you know what, I respect psychology. If you could even prove it in psychology, I'm all in. But there was no basis in psychology. There was no basis in religion. There was no basis in anything. And this is your limited belief. I don't have to fall onto that. I could challenge that status quo. So that's essentially how I got to this impossible dream, is by stop working so hard searching for meaning. Just go with the flow, as you said.